have you been inspired working with people like Masekela and the others that you've documented in your work? Because it seems that while at times they can be deeply charged, inspired by the events of the day, they are also incredible personalities to hang around. How magnetic is it to be with someone like Masekela day after day, sharing meals with him, and just feeding off, I suppose, or sharing that magnetism with him?
You know, I've been blessed. You know, I must take just a second and really give homage to Mr. John H. Johnson, the publisher and editor of Ebony and Jet, who, the late John Johnson, who passed in 2005. But he's the one who saw something in me as a young photojournalist, a young person who had the photography skills and was developing the writing skills, and constantly gave me the assignments to travel around the country and around the world, and to have the access and to gain the access of some of these people. You have no idea of what it's like to just be in the presence of them, and I'm not talking about awestruck and starstruck and all that. You know, I was way beyond that, long time ago. But just to be in their presence and to watch them work, and to observe them, and to listen to them, and to talk to them, and to, like you say, share meals with them, and talk to them, and just really understand them at a much deeper level. I have had that front seat for going on 4 decades. I never will forget doing the research on still grazing, which was 9 years of research and writing. The many days, afternoons, evenings, late into the evenings, that I had a chance to spend with Miriam Makeba. Unbelievable. The stories that she would share, and the honesty, and and it was always bring out the tape recorder. It was I never had anybody say shut the tape recorder off, or this is off record. Once you are brought into that environment, you know what is. You just know. You have that feel, and they have given you that access to their lives, and you know how not to abuse and use it. You know how to respect that. Not that there's anything about stuff that I saw that I was supposed to see, or no, it's not anything about that. It's just about being having that mutual respect of the person in his or her space and environment, and being able to leave that and therefore sit down and write poetically, and to get that narrative down with all the colorful adjectives and all the things that us writers like to use to tell our stories.
You bring to your writing the scholar's love for detail, and in an age where celebrity is often very shallow, it's about what people drive and the mansions in which they live and
right.
what they pay for lunch. You give us something much more, the human element, both the pain as well as the joy. How much research will you go and do before you are happy to commit something to paper?
Oh, I will do whatever it takes, as long as it takes, to get it right. I don't want to I've never had any interest in tabloid journalism or gotcha journalism and all that. I mean, I've always taken my craft seriously, and I know how important it is to invest in the time. And that goes beyond just reading, just spending time with the subject. The hours and hours and hours of reading and researching that goes into writing a book like Still Grazing, researching a book like Still Grazing. Still Grazing was a success that it was because D. Michael Cheers was not Hugh Masekela's stenographer. I would take what he would write. I would have done the research. It was important for me as the co-author to stay within his voice. And bro, Hugh, at times when, I would get too academic, he would bring me back. He said, "Now, Cheers, I don't talk like that," And it was all good. But I'll do whatever it takes. 9 years is a long time to stay on something. And people need to realize is that what research and scholars do is not in the open. It's not in a stadium, where there's a lot of activities and cheering and rah 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 and scoring goals and the accolades and all that. Research is lonely. I mean, there were days where it would take me months just to get a page right, because the research, it just had to be right. I was getting too many conflicting this, that, and the other. I had to get it right. Chris Calloway, who I think Hugh's second wife. It took me 5 years to get an interview with her. But I would not rest until I had spoken to her. That chapter on Chris was one of the first chapters that was written for the book. But it was way down in the book in terms of the chronological narrative, but once, Bro Hugh had written it and I had done as much research that I had, could have done. I got the magazine press clips, from Ebony and Jet and from the New York papers and Vogue magazine when they did the photo shoot and all that. And so I got all that, but I still needed to talk to Chris Calloway.
And that's absolutely beautiful.